Hello everyone. Today on Binky's Gaming Thoughts, I will continue with 3 more Major Arcana cards to analyze the Dragon Age Inquisition Tarot Deck. If you missed the introduction video or the first 3 cards, you can catch that from the playlist. So today we're going to be looking at Major Arcanas 3, 4, and 5, being the Empress, the Emperor, and the Hierophant. So before I begin, I'm just going to take a quick moment for the sponsor segment. All right, so Major Arcana 3, the Empress. So the Dragon Age Inquisition tarot card for this is Cassandra as divine. For the Rider-Waite deck, we see that it is also called the Empress, as well for the miniature. For the Greenwich Tarot deck, it is called the Earth Mother. So in terms of significance for Cassandra as Cassandra Divine for this card, as the right hand of the Divine, Cassandra wields her own sword to enforce justice as she seeks for truth. As Divine herself, she not only wields that power, but she holds it. And she is a leader of faith, of the faith she always followed. The card itself represents nurturing females, romance and passion, sensuality and contentment, fertility and abundance, harmony, growth, births, security and beauty, fruitfulness, empathy, sensitivity, optimism, naturalism, bounty, that sort of thing. Cassandra is an optimist. Just ask Varric. In her words, not mine, her words. The reverse of the card is potentials that are unrecognized, failed romances, wasting, vacillation, blocked creativity, overworking, stress, waning optimism, cruelty, slow progress, broken promises, etc. So let's have a look at the symbolism of the card itself. She holds the divine scepter in her right hand, having formerly been the right hand of the divine, now being the divine herself. And she holds her great sword in her left hand, showing the power she wields and the protection she always represented. A sun behind her, the light of the Maker. Between each ray an eye, as all eyes are upon her, and the Maker's eye ever watches her. Her crown seems to depict a face, atop which stand the symbols of the spade, the heart, and the waning crescent moon, representing the intellect, love, and the expulsion of negative energy. She sits on her divine throne, little stars on her robe, the symbol of the chantry she always stood by on her gown, partly hidden by her black and golden robe. So what do I think this means for Cassandra, for the future of Cassandra? So as divine and seeker, she may discover more hidden truths about the chantry that she otherwise would not have if she was not divine. And that could bring on a lot of change. So what do I think this means for the future of the Dragon Age franchise? The symbolism of her dark robes can't be ignored. As a seeker, she may indeed uncover the chantry's darkest secrets, and we may discover its impurities, if only to better appreciate and understand its beginnings, its divine beginnings. And so maybe it could bring on a renewal to the chantry, a renewal of the Andrastian religion, going back to its original roots, removing all the corruption that was brought to it throughout the ages. Major Arcana 4, the Emperor. So the card to represent the Emperor is Empress Celene Valmont. So we see that for the Rider-Waite deck, it's the Emperor, same name for the miniature deck. In Greenwich, it's called the Horn God, which basically is, from what I understand, the Emperor of the elements. So in terms of significance as Empress Celene for this card, she is the character on the seat of the throne at the beginning of Inquisition. Whether she remains on the seat is another question. She represents the Orlesian Empire. So as the character on this card, she also represents Gaspard if he becomes emperor, but she's the one who begins as empress. So she represents the ensemble of people, Gaspard and Briala, who could be ruling Orlais. So the ruler of Orlais. The card itself represents leadership, authority, responsibility, the masculine, so warriors, personal power and self-mastery, self-confidence, self-reliance, building projects, endurance and tenacity, protecting what is created, husbandry, etc. The Empress or Emperors of Briala of Orlais does protect not only the throne, but also the position of Orlais in regards to the rest of Thedas. So on the reversed side of the card, we have overexertion, indecisiveness, heavy burdens and challenges, being inflexible, bureaucratic people, confrontations, dominance, abuse of power, violence, threat, excessive concern about the future, danger, fire, etc. So let's have a look at the symbolism of the image of the card itself. Her snow-white hair is up, allowing us all to see the face of the woman in charge at the Winter Palace. Her staff mirrors her stoic mask. More circles mark her blue dress, indicating the long life and enduring strength of the empire the Empress represents. The calm of the sky color is an indication to the loyalty, wisdom, and trust the Empress brings to her allies. The deepness of the serene watery color bringing stability to a place where the game often causes chaos. All right, so what do I think this means for Orlais and the person on the throne ruling Orlais? Whether Celene, Gaspard, and or Briala rule Orlais at the end of Inquisition, it is certain that, in my opinion, they will remain loyal allies to the Inquisitor, regardless whether the Inquisition disbanded or not, or whether it serves the divine or not. So what do I think this means for the future of the Dragon Age franchise? Ultimately, Thedas will need protecting in the coming war. There is a coming war, whether it's the Blight, the war against someone else, against Solas, the fear demon pops out of the Fade. Who knows? I believe Orlais, when called upon, will be there to defend their lands. If restoration is possible in a peaceful manner, they may realize what they took from the elves and returned part of those lands, or come to a certain kind of agreement. That would be nice to see. That would be an interesting possibility to see, a nice outcome depending what other possibilities are there with what other choices we may make throughout the games. Major Arcana 5, the Hierophant. So we see that the card for the Dragon Age Inquisition deck is Solas when romanced. The Rider-Waite deck card is called the Hierophant. Same thing for the miniature. In the Greenwich deck, we see it is called the High Priest, which is fitting. The High Priest, the Hierophant. The Hierophant was an ancient priest. That's what it is. That's what the definition of the word. The Hierophant was an ancient priest who interpreted sacred mysteries and esoteric principles. The name of the card comes from the Greek sacred and to show. So that's where it comes from. So it's quite significant that Solas be for this card. He is an Evanurus, so as ancient as the time. So need I say more? The card itself represents physical reality, social and cultural values and customs, rules and laws, status quo, hierarchies, transmitted teachings, rites, ceremonies, order, worship, reverence, respect, belief systems, spiritual understandings, dependability, and that sort of things. There were hierarchies, chains of commands among the Evanurus, and Solas does represent, the cultural values that he holds on to. There's a lot of this that is significant to who Solas is. On the reversed aspect, we have dominance, ruin, limitation, stubbornness, dogmatism, rigid attitudes, loss of prestige, disruption, etc. Loss of prestige. Evanurus to the dread wolf. From being a respected Evanurus to being a trickster god, being cursed, used in curses, instead of being looked at as a friend type of character. From Fen'Harel to Solas, being prideful. So that's kind of significant as well. So let's look at the symbolism of the card itself.
He stands by a tree, great tall evergreens in the background. He touches a tree with golden yellow leaves falling, like in the fall, perhaps reminisce of the fall of his people, or perhaps simply that he has fallen in love. Eyes closed, his face reflects sadness. The white wolf at his side representing purity and loyalty, head bowed in grief. Alas, his love is true, but true also are the wrongs he has done which cause him such sorrow. But as the evergreens endure the long cold winters, so will his love endure all.
So what do I think this means for Solas and his future? Okay, well, if romanced, I think his love is so strong that he wishes he were with the Inquisitor. Their love might actually open his eyes to the right path and guide him towards the light. Turn back to the light side, Solas. What does this mean for the future of Dragon Age? Well, if I put my little predicting hat on, perhaps the only way to save him is through this love and romance, which would be a shame for befriended Inquisitors, but perhaps his respect and loyalty will prove stronger than his ill-guided belief. And that would be very interesting, that those who romanced Solas as the Inquisitor will see a very different possible outcome and ending to the game that those who did not romance him would not see. That would be very gratifying, given everything we had to suffer through when we romance him, all the heartbreak, come on. And that's it for today's video. Once again, my references are all in the description below for the meaning of what the cards actually represent. I referenced the books The Path of the Fool by Michael Sarian and The Greenwich Tarot Companion by Anne Mora, so you can check that out. I'll also be releasing the videos for the songs that you heard in today's video throughout the week. Like this video if you like it, subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, hit the bell notification icon to receive notifications for any video that I make, and I'll see you all soon. Masaranas.
Be sure to check out some of my other stuff, and remember to buy video games at a discounted price and support me at no additional cost to you. Just follow my G2A affiliate link. You can also join in on the fun on Patreon for some exclusive content. Thanks for tuning in.